First guest this evening is European Member of Parliament Christine Anderson, who joins me to talk about, amongst other things, the fact that the EU have climbed down on their net zero demands following the farmers' protests around Europe. Christine joins me now, I hope. Good evening,
Hi.
Christine. Very grateful to you for giving of your time this evening. The EU climb down, as it's being touted, how sincere is it, and how much is it pre-election running in fear from the constituency?
Yeah, see, that's just the thing, if we didn't have elections coming up, and she would have done that, I actually might have taken it seriously. But since we are having elections coming up and the protests, they have been rather persistent, they are in fear. They literally are in fear at this point. Because what they don't want is to have more MEPs being elected who actually serve the people and act in their best interest and act on their behalf. So they're trying to cut down on that. And the rationale behind that is pretty much, well, if we give in a little bit, at least, or at least we say we will, then they will secure the votes for themselves. And they wouldn't go to parties like my party, for example. So I'm not holding my breath about what she was saying. It's just another smokescreen, pretty much, to fool the people. That's the way I look at it.
Just a technical, can I have a bit more volume, please, in my ear on Christine? I'm finding her slightly muted, so if we could turn Christine up a little bit. Sorry, Christine. What is the atmosphere? You're in the chamber. You're moving around in the European Parliament. What is the talk, and what is the mood of your colleagues, those with whom you agree and those with whom you don't?
Well, truth be told, the ones that I don't agree with and the ones that don't agree with me, they don't really speak to me. I mean, there is MEPs that will step off the elevator just because I step on. It's insane. So there isn't really a lot of conversations going on. It's strictly business, for example, in the committee meetings. And even there, they'd rather I not say anything. But here I am, and, I just can't keep my mouth shut, so deal with it. But, they are kind of, they're frightened at this point because a lot of them do realize what they're doing is not right. They're not serving in the best interest of the people, and it is no longer government of the people, by the people, for the people. At this point, it's government of the globalitarian misanthropists, for the globalitarian misanthropists, and by the globalitarian misanthropists. That's what we're looking at. And they're beginning to realize that the people will no longer let them get away with it. And they can no longer fool them into thinking, we have to save the planet now, and it's climate change, and it's all of this. People no longer believe in that, and I think they're catching on to the fact that it's a gigantic lie.
Christine, I've been listening to you for years now, and you come across as a person with righteous anger. Do you feel any sort of vulnerability? Has it made your life difficult because you have taken such a forthright stance in the face of all of this?
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah. So I live under an undisclosed address that's not publicly available because my house has been vandalized. I had a thrown stone at my head. That was in 2015, and personal attacks. So I had a mob showing up at my house at like 2 a.m. in the morning, and just screaming around while my kids were sleeping in the house, by the way. So yeah, obviously we are living in times where you actually would have to go back a very long time to find parallels. And I kind of thought that we had overcome that. And, most people, they pretty much claim to have learned from history. Turns out they haven't learned a damn thing. And we've been seeing that in the last 4 years with this so-called pandemic. There was, fear all over. People were being coerced. They were manipulated, gaslighted. I mean, it was terrible. There was ostracism going on. People were threatened with their livelihoods. You won't have a job if you don't take the jab. And all of this going on. And that does remind me of very dark times that, especially here in Germany, we had to live through. And I would have hoped we would never see anything like that ever again. But here we are.
Ingrid Tarrant, listening to Christine Anderson there, do you think that the climb down is sincere? Or do you think it's just what you would expect from worried politicians approaching elections?
Yeah, I think what Christine says, and actually she would know better than ever, I think it is a little bit sort of like climb down to appease. At the moment, it's timely to do that. But I think it's very insincere. They just want to keep pushing this agenda and not backing up. But it's quite interesting, though, I have to say, that I wonder if people are beginning, really, though, when I say people that's on high, that we're not taking this net zero agenda anymore. Starmer backed down from the U-turn with 38 billion investment in net zero as well. And I just wonder a little bit if it's just shifting and they perhaps are trying to compromise a bit or just beginning to realise that we've seen right through them as an absolute nonsense. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out, especially post-elections.
Christine, listening to Ingrid Tarrant there, do you sense the same, that whether or not this is a kicking into the long grass to let them get through the elections, is it finally getting to them that if a population as traditionally conservative as farmers, aided and abetted by swathes of population, are kicking off about net zero and Agenda 2030, do you think finally the message is getting through to them?
Well, if you're talking about is the message getting through to the politicians who are responsible for all of that? No, it's not. EU Commissioner Ursula von der Leyen backing down on this one, or at least, partially taking it back. That is just a tactical retreat. So, appease the people and, get them through election. And once the elections are done with, trust me, they will just pretend, well, we never said that. No, we're not going to do that. So, and they will once again go full force on that. But now they have to look at getting through June 9th. That's the last day of the elections. And starting up again in July and in August, you will see they will not remember ever having said that they were going to partially walk it back.
What will it take then, if their population's rising, if the farmers upon whom we all depend 3 times a day for our daily bread and the rest, what will it take? Because we need to get away from net zero.
We do. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. There is climate change. Of course there is, because I'm being called a climate change denier, right? There is climate change, but there has always been climate change. But it's absolute hubris to think that we as men have such an impact on climate that we could actually change it and to make matters worse. I'm German, right? So we're shutting down all of our nuclear power plants and doing all of that. And it's literally Germany is now saving the whole planet, right? Oh gosh, this is insane. So anyways, we have to get away. We have to get away from that. But they're not sincere. And when you ask what will it take, you would think. Ursula von der Leyen, I heard your quote. Apparently, she said our farmers are worth or deserve to be listened to. It's not just the farmers. That is democracy. The elected officials and elected representatives, they listen to the people, point blank. And if they're not doing that, then they have no place in being in office. So, but they're not. They want the people to do as they are told. And that's what we're talking about. So I don't know what it will take, but for all the uprising throughout the countries we're seeing, we are actually in a cold civil war already.
A cold civil war. Christine Anderson, once again, thank you so much for giving so generously of your time this evening. I'll hope we get the chance to speak again. Thank you for now.